This is a community-supported legal education channel. Find out how you can support our mission at the links in the description below. Hello everyone. Not a video I wanted to make, especially after all the positive things that came from the outcome of the MxR and Jukin Media dispute. Just to update you there real quick, it appears that they worked out a deal with Jukin Media and everybody can move forward happy. Except that this morning I woke up on Central European time and saw a video from MxR Plays that said that they have been demonetized. At first I thought this was going to be like a channel-wide demonetization, like, you know, the YouTube pops up and says in the settings, your channel is no longer eligible for monetization. No, this is much more subversive than that. This feels more like a shadow ban where you get demonetized through all of your videos being given the yellow demonetization icon and limited or no ads. But then to make their situation particularly bad, they used to get this a lot. Now it seems to be all the time. So they make a video. Obviously they have edgy commentary. I mean edgy, literally on the edge of what YouTube will monetize. And then by now we all know how this works, right? You get demonetized and then the video doesn't get promoted by YouTube's browse and search features and things, so you don't get the normal opportunity for your video to either go viral or at least be shown to your subscribers. Why would this be? Well, that's because YouTube wants to make monies and they only have little amounts of space to show videos and limited amounts of time and attention from viewers, so they only show videos where they're going to make a maximum amount of money. There's an algorithm, obviously, and the algorithm favors heavily content that is fully monetized. So when you get a video that's demonetized, if you happen to publish that video while it is demonetized, you will not get nearly the views. Sometimes it's only 10% of the views. We've seen about 30% of the full views, not a 30% reduction, a 70% reduction, 60 or 70% reduction in views if the video is demonetized. Even then, a remonetized video still seems to carry a lower cost per mille or CPM, cost per thousand, and seems to be a little bit depromoted, maybe 10 to 30% fewer views on a remonetized video. And just from our monetization statistics on lawful masses, I can tell you the MxR video, the two Jukin videos and MxR videos that we did went mildly viral by our standards and really boosted our channel, but the cost per thousand dropped by more than half. A lot of people said this is due to January's advertising numbers not being as good. Advertisers don't spend as much on YouTube during January. Okay, fine. Lawful Masses hasn't really seen that hit, but the Jukin Media videos definitely got less than half of the cost per thousand than we normally get. So being demonetized is a real problem for a channel. If MxR Plays videos are always demonetized and then always have to be queued for review, that's a problem, at least with their content, since their content isn't, I mean, I'm not trying to speak for them, but it doesn't seem to be timely content. It doesn't seem to be, let's react to the latest thing that happened, but rather they seem to have a couple days. Their practice has been to queue the video for review and then await the remonetization and then publish the video. Great, except that's not happening anymore. The videos are not getting reviewed by YouTube, according to MxR. They sit there for days to weeks and never get reviewed. They just sit there awaiting review. As usual, the creator support system is absolutely useless. We have contacted them here on Lawful Masses before, and they just send us links to the advertiser policy, or I argued with them for 2 hours one time trying to get us to be eligible for a channel manager, and YouTube had promised that you'd get a channel manager if you hit 100,000 subscribers. Well, no, it now turns out that you're only eligible for a channel manager at YouTube's discretion, and so we don't get a channel manager even at 118,000 subscribers. They invited us to reapply the next time that they open the channel manager applications. Whenever that is, we have no idea. So we don't have a channel manager, despite it being clearly one of the things that you get when you hit 100,000. They changed that on you. Now, the YouTube terms of service that I read through this morning say a few things. They say some things that I don't think anyone's going to like to hear. Let me bring those up on the screen real quick, and I guess I'll put myself over here, which will look weird because I'm going to be looking, not going to be looking that direction, we're looking this direction. These are the terms of service as of December 10th, 2019. You more or less agree to these, I think explicitly when you sign in for the first time, but also by using the service. That should say that here on the bottom of each of these pages. When you go all the way down here to the bottom of, if there is there a bottom anymore? Here we go. Terms, policy, and safety, they're down here on the left. By using the service, you very likely agree to these terms. I can't imagine a judge throwing this out as you didn't agree. We have already had this tested a couple times in court, and judges very quickly throw it out as you agreed to these terms of service. It's very long, so we're not going to go over the whole thing, but it says that your use of this service is subject to these terms, the community guidelines, the policy on safety and copyright, etc., advertising on YouTube policies. The advertising on YouTube policies go over how you can monetize your videos with the partner program. And they say a few things in here, that YouTube is under no obligation to host or serve content, for example, that YouTube is allowed to make changes to the service. They will provide notice when they make changes, but they might not, and they don't have to. They say you might be able to upload content to the service. You retain ownership of your content, but you license your content to YouTube. YouTube may suspend or terminate your access, and then they have other legal terms limiting warranties to only what's required by law. They try to accept, EXCEPT, to accept themselves from liability. Now, not every state allows them to accept themselves from liability. Many times, gross negligence is not an exception. So then they further agree to a liquidated damages clause. Liquidated damages are when you agree to damages ahead of time because damages might be hard to calculate later. So you agree to either the greater of the amount of revenue paid to you for 12 months or $500, which is whatever is greater. So that's the most that they will give you if there's some sort of dispute that is YouTube's fault. Now, then what happens? Reaching out to YouTube? Do you really think that reaching out to YouTube and making a legal claim is going to make them want to keep your channel alive? No, that's probably the end of your channel and your use of the service. You indemnify YouTube, but they don't indemnify you. So if they screw up, you have to take care of it. If you screw up, you have to take care of it. If they get sued because of you, you have to take care of it. So it's not a great agreement for creators. This is why there's lots of talk for getting some sort of representation in the form of a YouTubers union. Because if we were actually able to unionize on YouTube, then there would be some sort of bargaining position or leverage that we might be able to use. Here over on the ad policy, or rather the monetization overview, they talk about how you can be eligible for the partner program, but there's no guarantee that you'll get in. Now this isn't what happened to them though. They just seem to not be monetized anymore. If you see limited or no ads, it means that you've turned monetization on, but our automated systems believe the video does not meet our advertiser-friendly content guidelines, you may earn less revenue, you will, because fewer ads will appear. In some cases, you may be able to appeal this decision. If you think it shouldn't fall into the limited or no ad status, you can request a human review. How to request human review? How does the appeals process work? How long does it take? So we know how to request the review. The video gets looked at by an expert who spends time watching the video and reviewing the video's content, title, metadata. We know these reviews are important. We strive to review as many as possible and as quickly, as accurately as possible. Because we're a platform that has hundreds of millions of videos, we have also set guidelines around which videos get reviewed first. This is to make sure we review those videos that are getting substantial traffic. And let me find their video in my history here. So what looks like it's happening is that MxR has been deprioritized for monetization review, or maybe there's some kind of error. It could just be that the algorithm got one too many videos for review and said, okay, we deprioritize after so many videos or something. Here's what you can do. There probably isn't too much of a legal recourse, although I'm not saying that MxR shouldn't contact a competent attorney to review this contract. I'm not a contract attorney. I don't know the contract law of California, or Google is in Delaware, for example. So one of those two places is where a contract law might apply. I'm not licensed to review contracts in Delaware or California, so I'm not going to say really anything other than that this has been tested before and YouTube's contract seems to be sound. I've heard arguments like, but we're employees or we're independent contractors. Well, no, that's an employer relationship with their workers. When someone's an employee, they are under the purview and control of their employer, who provides the equipment, who provides the insurance, who tells them when to be at work, when to get their work done, all that. An independent contractor is still in a relationship with an employer. The independent contractor relationship is more like where the contractor is hired to do a job or series of jobs. They use their own equipment, they provide their own insurance, they work at their own hours, and they just work towards a deadline that is set by the person hiring them. You can look up the United States IRS guidelines on employer-employee relationships and independent contractor relationships, and you may quickly see that making videos and posting them on YouTube does not make you an independent contractor or employee of YouTube. Instead, it is more like they are hosting a service that is governed by an agreement called the Terms of Service, Privacy Policy, Advertising, Community Guidelines, etc. So that's a lot of agreements to go through. Now, what I think you can actually do, we have had some information from insiders at YouTube and Google, insiders that are not insiders whose names I won't reveal, and I won't give any details because I don't want to harm those insiders who are trying to help us. But it seems like there's a lot going on inside of YouTube, maybe a little bit more than YouTube can handle, and things get triaged and given priority according to a set of facts or algorithms or analyses that we don't have access to in the public, and I don't have access to or knowledge of. What I can say is that I have learned that Google and YouTube engineers do look at social media. The algorithm looks at social media, and higher priority is given to things that blow up on social media, and Google and YouTube engineers can submit support tickets that are given a much higher priority, sometimes a required priority, sometimes a priority that is automatically set to a high priority, must be reviewed. We YouTube are required to give an answer. And So blowing things up on social media seems to get the attention of Google engineers who submit tickets to YouTube saying, hey, something's broken, you got to fix it. So I recommend that we all tag YouTube and Team YouTube on Twitter and maybe other places as well. I'm not so active on Facebook and Instagram and all that, so tag them there too. Make stories about it on Reddit, retweet this video, retweet or share MxR Plays video about being demonetized, and pretty much literally ask Google and YouTube to submit their own support tickets, their own internal support tickets to have the situation reviewed, because there's some reason that isn't given for MxR to have their remonetization requests deprioritized. And that's sad. That's really sad, because when we sign up for the YouTube Partner Program and start making videos and become dependent upon the revenue, for example, we have 2 people that work for us now, and we pay those people a lot of money in the middle 5 digits by the time we get done with everything, and we don't even make quite that amount of money yet consistently. We're just starting to grow, and maybe that will make things bigger and better, but we're also having to do a lot of work to grow, so that means not paying those people more money for the extra work that they're doing. So this is a kind of terrible situation where people get dependent on YouTube acting in a consistent way and YouTube communicating things with us, but YouTube doesn't like to communicate. YouTube doesn't tell you why your video is demonetized. They don't tell you how to consistently get your video remonetized other than click the button for review and wait. And they don't seem to give you any explanation on the creator support system, which seems to be absolutely useless. At least if you can read these things here, then you don't need the creator support system, because all the creator support system does is link you to the support article that applies to what you're doing. And if that support article is not helpful, well, that's the end of the creator support inquiry. It took me, again, 2.5 hours to get something escalated to the point where it would get follow-up. That was how resistant to helping creators YouTube's support system is. So you can't rely on YouTube to tell you anything, even though they call us partners, as in YouTube Partner Program. They don't treat us like partners. If I was to withhold this much information from my spouse, it would basically be considered abusive, or at least would be no one would question why you would leave a spouse who was not communicating with you. But YouTube calls them partners and yet doesn't communicate with us what actually is going on. It would be very nice if they told us, well, you got demonetized because at 5 minutes and 35 seconds you used the F word 1 too many times or something. Then fine, I could go make a video and remove the F word. I don't understand why that's a terrible situation for YouTube, so terrible that they don't want to tell us. I'm sure they have the information. They've told us so. They've told us that their remonetization review experts, if they're experts at all, get this kind of flag, go to that section of the video, watch it, and look for context and decide whether or not it is remonetizable or not. And for some reason, that can't be given to the actual creators themselves. So it's a terrible situation, and I think the only way to resolve this is to bring a lot of attention to it, shine a giant flashlight on it, and ask Google and YouTube on Twitter to review the MxR Plays situation. So those are my thoughts. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I'll let you go here. I love you all. I'm Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney. And thank you to all of the supporters who have been scrolling on the screen in front of me. I'll see you in the next one, which should be the Aaron Carter misunderstands copyright dispute there. That's a fun one. Aaron Carter used another artist's art without permission, and we'll tell you all about it. But it'll be dropping probably later today to give this video a chance to play. Love you all. See you in the next one. Good luck. Bye.